Hello and welcome back to StreamGlue.com.
In our previous lecture, we learned about the private access modifier. We also learned how you can create private variables, and we try to access those variables outside the class, right? And when we did that, we had an error, right? Because private access modifier means that variables or method is only accessible inside the same class. So what is default access modifier then? Well, default access modifier is only accessible within class and package. So if you have another class within the same package, then you can access to these variables. Otherwise, you will not be able to access the variable. For instance, I've got this person here, class, and I got this default method greet here. This is a default greet method because it does not have public or private or protected, right? Same thing with this variable age. It doesn't have anything private, public, or any other access modifier. So now, if I try to actually create another class, right, in another package, okay, so this is in the com.seleniumglue.access modifiers, right, and this is in com.seleniumglue.package101, right, so this person is in a different class. Now, I have this main method here, so I was able to create an object, right, person equal person1 new person. So I was able to do that after importing this package, right, you see here com.seleniumglue.access modifier, so I'm actually importing access modifiers and that class.person. Right? However, when I call this greet method, right, it's having the scribbly line because it's going to throw an error because this greet, right, is a default. It has a default access modifier. It means this greet method you can only access within another class if it's in the same package. Since this default access modifier example is in separate package, which is in package 101, it's throwing an error. So when I run this, I'm going to say greet.ling is not public in .com.selenium access modifiers. Person cannot be accessed from outside package. So this is in different package. That's why you are not able to actually call this greet method. So now let's go into our IntelliJ in here. I'm going to create a person here. So person class. And in here, I'm actually going to create a variable 40. And here, I'm also going to create a default method here. I'm going to say greet string name. And here, I'm going to say system.out.println. I'm going to say hello. And just say name. All right, so this is a default method because it does not have private, public, or protected access modifiers, right? It does not have a public, private, or anything, just void. That means it's a default. All right, so now let's create a new package. I'm going to call it package 101. So if I create a new class in here, I'm going to say default access modifier example. So in here, let's create a main method. I'm going to do person1 equal new person. Again, it's going to throw an error because this is in separate package. So one way I can actually have access to that person class is importing our person package here. So the person is in this package, seleniumglue.access modifiers and .person. Okay, so once I have that, I'm able to create an object. So now if I try to call greet, and I'm going to say Johnny. All right, so as you can see here, this one has a greet method, right? This is a default method, and I try to call that method on this class default access modifier example, which is in another package. So if I try to run this, then I'm going to get this greet is not public, cannot be accessed from outside package. So I cannot access that outside the package because the default access modifier only allows you to actually use the method if it's inside the same package. So now what I can actually do is copy this, right, and actually paste it there. And here I'm going to say example 2. As you can see, I got person1, same thing, just like before, and I did person1.greet, right? So now if I run this, okay, I need to also comment this because it's throwing an error on that one. So if I run this, right? It's saying hello Joni. It did not throw any error because this greet method is a default access modifier, which means as long as your another class is in the same package, you'll be able to call this method here. Okay, default method. So that's it for this lecture. I will see you guys in our next lecture.